Coming in three, two, one. They call me Pittsburgh Dave. You may have noticed in recent months, Pittsburgh Dave hasn't been feeling very well. Uh, there's been a lot of bad things happen in my life. And I have uh, contemplated, thought about, mused, whatever adjective or adverb you want to throw in there, about suicide. Because between physical pain and emotional pain, it was getting that bad. And I was to the point of not wanting to deal with it anymore. Yesterday, I had a welfare check even. Somebody from Cabot Police came by. We talked for a bit. My mind wasn't made up then. And I think I had already decided what I was going to do before then, but it helped. We'll send a shout out to Mark Tatum. I know that's where it came from. Anyway, and don't be thinking I'm making some sort of video to do that. Usually, it's the Hollywood staple. They get into their dress blues, they stand up, and that's when they put a bullet through their head. It's not happening here. I don't think a worn out Yes t-shirt and tie-dye shorts is a civilian equivalent to a dress blue uniform. I could use my dad's, but I don't think I could fit into it. But that's not going to happen. I have had, as Samuel L. so eloquently put it in Pulp Fiction, had a moment of clarity. And it's time, as this is our nation's birthday, not sesquicentennial. I only know that from when we graduated in 1986. That was also the state's sesquicentennial. That's 150th anniversary. And don't worry, class of 86, we got 40 years next year. I'll be there. This next year, I think it was called the Demi Semiquincentennial, I think, is what it is, for 250 years. So it's our nation's birthday, also known as, scare the shit out of your neighbor's dog birthday. I'm being kind of drawn into that camp that neighborhood fireworks shows are not the best things in the world. I do see the irony and the hypocrisy of the fact that I'm probably going to a friend of mine's later tonight anyway. But he lives in a very rural area, so there's not that many dogs or anything like that to worry about. I know some birds. You get birds, and raccoons have problems with it, but that's like the ACLU trying to bring up something to make everything equal. We're not there yet. Like to make strides, but we're not there yet. And that kind of brings me to my next point. In the past, I guess it'd be about, what is this? This is 7, so, not quite a year. I've gone through another surgery on my left ankle. I have gone through the pain with that, which didn't cure anything from the first ankle surgery. And now I'm looking at the next ankle surgery coming up next month. So there's been a lot of pain. Yeah, I'm taking painkillers. I'm not addicted to painkillers. I think I know the difference there. I know you can say, well, everybody thinks they don't till they're there. We're not there. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not trying to raid the neighborhood CVS or Walgreens or anything like that to try to get me some more oxycodone. I deal with what is prescribed to me, and that's what I have for the month. I make it work. So, but I've recently lost what work I had just simply because I can't physically do it. I've gotten to that point of it's too hard a job on me physically, between low back, right knee needing to be replaced, left ankle that's been fused, got 11 screws in it, different wrist and elbow and shoulder problems that I've had over the years. It's just got too hard. So I'm out there looking for another job again, which helps in getting to the point where we are now. If I were to pinpoint the cause of this downward spiral, I know where it is. I mean, it's just the physical ailments for me, but what took my mind away was last November. Okay, you can say, what's last November? I think many of you may know. When I say last November, we're talking about the election. I can't, it's hard. I don't say I can't. It's hard to deal with the fact that Trump was elected, but that's what on the electoral side of everything said should be. So I got to live with that. But I don't have to live in silence anymore, and I'm not going to. I know a lot of you have seen a lot of my posts before that, and I think everybody pretty much knows I'm not a Trump guy. I'm the last guy to be a Trump guy. They'll flip 50 million other Democrats before they'll flip me. But I want to do something about that. If I can't do the job that I'm essentially trained in, then I've got to do a job that makes me happy, that gives me a purpose, that makes me want to get up in the morning and says, what's next? What do we do now? Many people have encouraged me to do volunteer work. Well, I hope I don't have to do volunteer work for long. And that means, and I don't care, you're probably about to laugh, snicker, chortle, guffaw, all you want. But this kid's going into politics. I know it's a little late in the game. I'm 57 years old. I haven't been in any kind of politics throughout these first 57 years. Well, what do you do now? Well, sorry about that, but I'm the 12th guy on the bench. I'm the 12th guy on the bench that says, put me in now, coach. I think my 1 or 2 3-pointers might just help. You know, I'm no longer a kid in left field who doesn't want the ball for him. In fact, I was never in left field because you got to be fast to play left field, and one thing I am not is fast. So I'm the kid over in right field that you always hear begs that he doesn't want the ball hit to him. No, I want the ball hit this way. I'm getting into the ring. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know where I'm going to start. But I am going to find a way to help the Democratic Party. That's a fool's bet in Arkansas. Probably even worse bet in Lone Oak County, Arkansas. But damn it, that's what's going to happen. I don't care if I have to go to the office of the Lone Oak County Democratic Party. I don't care if I have to go to the office of the Arkansas Democratic Party. I don't care if I have to make noise with, I don't know, Southeastern Democrats. I don't care if I need to make noise with Rachel Maddow and this supposed new network she's got coming up, or Lawrence McDonald, or even all the way up to House Leader Jeffries. I'm getting in this ring, and I am going to do something about it. I'm tired. And the reason that I am not going to end my life, as I had at least thought about over the past month, 6 weeks, is because I am not going to let them win. I am not going to let a sniveling, little, weak worm of a man called Donald Trump to beat me. If I committed suicide, he wins. That's over. That's not going to happen. He's even quoted himself that it's time to start deporting U.S. citizens because they don't agree with him. Well, here I am, buddy. I live in Cabot, Arkansas. I won't tell you my exact address, but I'm sure you can find it out. It's not easy. It's not going to be that hard for you. So that's that. You want to send ICE agents after a, God, what have we done in genealogy? The 7th generation natural born American citizen? Well, bring it on, buddy. I have worked in radio. I have written for newspapers. I know media. I've been in radio. I've been a DJ. I know how to yell. I know how to scream. And I know how to scream for a long time. You can already see how long this video's gone on. This is nothing. These videos are going to start coming. And I'm going to bring up something that needs to be fixed. And I am going to do what I can to get those things fixed. If you don't like it, folks in my golf group, hi, Cole Harmon, talking about you. If you don't like what I'm doing from the other people in my poker groups, well, you can say, show me the door. You can do it. I don't care. I will find other golf groups. I will find other poker groups. Now, I want to send out a shout to my poker group that I'm in and this 4th of July party that I'm going to. They've been the ones that stood up for me the most. ones that actually took an initiative to say, dude, what's up? So from now on, you've got a lot more of this coming from me. From now on, you're not going to hear any talk about suicide from me. From now on, you are going to find me somewhere doing something to advance the Democratic agenda. I know there are a lot of people who don't agree with everything Trump does, but still voted for him. I'm sure if, as we go back to our last election, you sat me down with Kamala Harris and we ran down 150 issues, I bet we'd probably disagree on one or two of them. That's natural. I can understand we can disagree on things. There's no problem with disagreeing on things. But somewhere, someone's got to realize that there are red lines you just don't pass. And I'm sorry, racism is one of them for me. If you can claim not to be a racist all you want, but if you vote for one, that just means that racism's not a deal breaker for you. Well, it is a deal breaker for me. I don't know how many people that I know they're not racist. I mean, I know that. But why did you vote for one? I just don't get it. But I'm not going to let that, I got to let that ship sail. That boat is gone, and sorry, I was standing on the shore. There's nothing left for me to do other than what makes you happy. They said it, I'll quote another movie. They said it in City Slickers. My life is a do-over. And I'm starting over. Now, I hope I can do a little bit of something here in the next 7 weeks anyway, before my next surgery. Then there will be about 4 or 5 weeks in between before there's the surgery after that. That's getting us toward the end of the year, and I really want to do my right knee replacement also from the end of the year, because I'm one of those that's losing their insurance. DJT's big piece of shit bill that he just got signed, or he's going to officially sign it tonight, probably, and he may even have to already have. I'm not keeping up with what's actually going on today, although prayers go out to those in Texas and the flooding that's happened there. It sounded much like what we had here in Arkansas there several years back down there at Little Missouri River. Just too fast, the high rising water. And that's a shame. But that's part of climate change, of which, yes, climate change is real. You've got, that's going to be one of those I've got to convince people on. That's real. It's happening. Now, I don't know which way it's weird. It's hard. You've even got climate change on two camps on the left. Are we going to keep getting progressively hotter, or is the dam going to break at one point and then all of a sudden we're cold again? We have another ice age. So, we've all got to get on the same side on that before we can convince all of you. I don't know how many people I am friends with who actually do agree with me right now. I can think of 2 that have posted on my post recently. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Stacy. But it's a long way to go. And I know it's a long way to go. And I'm going to do my very best to deal with setbacks, deal with not getting anything accomplished today, but there's always tomorrow. And if I can find somebody to convince me and gets on my side, then that's one more. And I'll take one more. And I'll take another the day after that. Everything we seem to know about this bill that just got passed is going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt way more people than it helps. The upper crust elite that have got all the money, yeah, they're getting a nice little tax break. Let them keep more money. But I'm not going to have more money. I don't care what job I get. I'm not going to have more money because it affects all the lower and middle classes to almost an immeasurable point. Just say for the fact maybe you don't lose your insurance. But that doesn't change the fact that, okay, you've got your insurance. People are not going to be able to have their health insurance. They're going to have to make decisions about what they can pay for and what they can't. And then what's going to happen is then a lot of those people aren't going to afford car insurance. And they're going to hit you. Just comes up. You hit them, whatever. But they don't have any insurance. So unless you've got uninsured motorist on your policy, well, then you're screwed. Your prices are good. You're going to have to pay for it out of your insurance. Then your monthly payments are going to go up. And the fact that less people are on insurance, that means the insurance companies have got to make more money out of less people. Well, how do they think they're going to do that? Your premiums are going to go up. Everybody's premiums are going to go up. Everything is going to hurt everybody. These rural hospitals that are going to close, and then all of a sudden you can't get to somebody in time for even the minorest things. An accidental cut at home and you're bleeding profusely, but now you don't have a hospital in your town anymore, and you've got to drive 30 miles, 40 miles to get to the next one. There's no telling, there's a lot that can happen in that 45 minutes. And it would be because this bill was passed that is going to make it that way. So I don't know what I'm going to post and when. I know a lot of these videos are going to come a lot more frequently than they have been. First thing I'd like to be able to do is at least get me a teleprompter so I don't have to keep sitting here looking at the phone like this. Not only that, because even though I like to rant, I like to ramble, I write. I also write. I'm a very good writer. I always have been good at writing. That way I could then at least write a good speech, have me a teleprompter, let it go, and I could just look at the camera and say, this is Pittsburgh Dave, and this is what we're talking about today. So maybe some of these videos won't have to go on so long, so I don't have to keep my thoughts together. A lot of these transient pauses and so on, you get those edited out, and you have a lot of nice speech and points to put out there for everyone to view on. I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to say I can't do it without your help. Everybody needs help. I have asked for monetary help before, just to help me out of this hole that I'm in. Because, you want to talk about a stack of bills that would stun a mastodon. Thanks, Mike Reiner. That's what I've got. But that's not where anything that I announce in the future would be where any money is going to. I like to be able to call it Back the Blue, but that's kind of taken. Blue progressive onward. I don't know. I'll come up with something snazzy. I can do that. I can, give me some time to workshop that, and I'll figure it out. But we have got to make this place, this world we live in, a better place for everybody. It can't just be made a better place for few. That just doesn't work. You remember, I was born in 1968. So early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, dorks like me, we were only playing two games. There were only two games out there. You were either playing Dungeons and Dragons, or you might be playing Risk. One of the two. You remember in Risk, there would always be a time. You got the four of you around the board. There would always be a time when forces were essentially equal, and you'd roll your dice, and you'd lose 3 armies, and you'd pick up a card to gain 10. Next guy would do the same thing. It would just keep going. It was kind of like Monopoly when nobody really could get a good hold on a corner or anything. By the way, if you're playing Monopoly, you want the free parking corner. That's the corner you want. The yellows, not the yellows, that's up there. The browns and the reds, that's the one you want. I'll leave more Monopoly advice for later. Get back to that. But you get stuck in this loop of everybody's got the same amount of everything. But that's never enough for somebody. That won't be enough for Trump, as he would love to go out there and with American muscle and might and just conquer and slay everybody, and everybody is now the 51st, 52nd, 53rd, 54th, whatever state. That's the way that's going to go. And do you think Putin's really going to stop at Ukraine? No. He's not going to stop at Ukraine. He will go into Poland. And then we have to protect Poland because we're part of NATO. Poland's a part of NATO. And when one is attacked, the rest of them are duty bound to help. And the only time, remember this, the only time that has ever come up was 9/11. We were attacked. They came to our help. Donald Trump doesn't want to help anybody. He wants to own everybody. And he will say, under his guise, you are helped because you're under me now. Well, that's the same way that Putin is talking. I just don't know how the next election is going to go because, right, to be honestly, I'm not sure there's going to be a next election. He's going to do what he can to try to stop the midterms. I don't think he'll get by with that one. But if we are anywhere close to right about what we all say this bill that's been passed is going to do, well, then Republicans, my word, you are going to get your asses handed to you in the midterms. Putting the midterms aside, he will work as probably from day one after the midterms to going on to the fact that he will say there's no need for a 28 election. You elected me once. What do you need to elect me again for? I know I've already run, I've had 2 terms, and the Constitution specifically says that you can't have more than 2 terms. But he's going to find something because he's got the court with him. He's got SCOTUS with him. He'll figure out a way. He will get it done. You had all of these senators and congressmen who weren't going to vote for this bill. Donald Trump gave them nothing. He converted them out of fear of being primaried. And these people, the Republicans, just don't want to lose their job. Of course, nobody wants to lose their job. Everybody needs to feed their family. Everybody wants to go to the movies on the weekend. Everybody wants to have a nice steak dinner every once in a while. But you got to be working. And if that's what it means to keep my job, then that's what they did. They voted for a bill they don't like. So many of these people, Thomas Massie, Tom Tillis, Lisa Murkowski, they all said they don't like this bill. But you voted for it. Why? There's got to be a better way. And that's where, I guess, that's where I come in. I'm going to try to find a better way. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start shouting. Like I said, I'm just going to start shouting and raving. And I'm going to try to get a job with somewhere in the Democratic Party. And I am going to do my part to say what we've got to start with is fair. And you can't say fair is fair when over 18 million people are going to lose their health insurance, all because we can give the upper 1% more money. That's not fair. I think I've ranted long enough for now. I appreciate those of you who are watching. Angela's there. Hey, Colt's there. Sean's there. Cody's watching. Go sell another car, Cody. Evan's there. See, how many other people on here? That's all I see right at the moment. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to start sharing this and posting it in other places. I'm going to get to work. But one thing you can be sure of is I am not going to get to work in removing myself from this earth. I am not going to admit defeat to Donald Trump. Never. That's just, I think many of you who know me now, I'm left. I'm leaning, I'm a left leaner. Hey, there are some center right issues that I'm also agree with. I do believe in capital punishment. I do believe in the expansion of states' rights. But you got to do, things in the right way. And not doing anything other than to give you and your millionaire, billionaire buddies, more money every week. That's just not the way to go about it. There's been no piece of decent legislation put forward through either one of his first administration or Trump 2.0. Nothing that helps America grow. So, I'm in there now. I am ready to say, put me in, coach. But, it's fourth down and a mile to go, and we're on our own 1 yard line. But if I have to run through the 85 Bears, the 2,000 Ravens, and the top amalgamism of the greatest group of Steelers, my beloved Steelers, you ever want to put on that defensive side, when I get the ball, I'm finding a way to get us forward. Maybe it's just a first down. Maybe I catch it on some weird deflection. And all of a sudden, now we're in business. But you may, like I said, you may know me that I'm left, but a lot of people who've known me for longer, my family, my friends from high school, they know when I don't know what's going to be the correct way to put it. When I find something, I will get focused on it. And hell be damned with everything else. When I've got an itch, I'm going to scratch it. And Donald Trump, you are the world's biggest flea.